The alien narrator. A member of a species renowned for their advanced understanding of biology and medicine had been assigned a peculiar task. Their mission was simple in theory: study human biology, observe its functions, and report back with findings. To the alien, it seemed like a routine task. After all, humans were seen as a fragile species, prone to disease, injury, and internal dysfunction. What the alien didn't expect, however, was just how baffling the human body would turn out to be. The initial excitement of the assignment quickly shifted to confusion as the alien began to delve deeper into the intricacies of human biology. They had assumed, based on their extensive knowledge of other species, that humans would be relatively simple to understand. Yet the more they observed, the more contradictions they encountered. For instance, the alien found it absurd that a species capable of thriving on a planet full of dangerous elements had such a fragile composition. How could beings who break bones so easily, catch diseases at the drop of a hat, and are vulnerable to environmental factors have survived for so long? Despite their initial assumptions, the alien soon realized that humans were far from fragile. The human body displayed remarkable resilience, healing from injuries that would have been fatal for other species. Whether it was a broken bone mending itself in weeks or immune systems launching aggressive responses to foreign invaders, the human body seemed to defy logic. The alien watched in amazement as humans recovered from infections and injuries that should have wiped them out. It didn't make sense, and yet there it was: humans, enduring what would have crippled others. As the study continued, the alien became increasingly fascinated by the complexity of the human immune system. It was a chaotic, yet highly adaptive mechanism. Rather than functioning with perfect precision, like the immune systems of many other species, the human immune response was messy and unpredictable, yet surprisingly effective. The alien observed as humans fought off waves of pathogens, often emerging from illness stronger than before. This bizarre combination of frailty and strength left the alien questioning how such an inefficient system managed to keep the species alive. The alien's notes began to pile up, each observation more perplexing than the last. The sheer variability of human responses to environmental stimuli and biological threats was unlike anything the alien had encountered. One moment, humans would be at the brink of death from a simple virus, and the next, they would be running marathons or climbing mountains. How could a species so biologically disordered survive in such a hostile universe? This contradiction gnawed at the alien, leading them to question the very foundation of what they understood about biology. Despite everything pointing to human fragility, the species persisted, and that fact alone was impossible to ignore. The alien continued their study, growing more perplexed with each new discovery about human biology. One of the most baffling aspects was the extremes that humans were capable of enduring physically. The alien observed humans pushing their bodies to the limit in ways that no other species would attempt. Whether it was running long distances in marathons, performing feats of strength, or surviving in extreme temperatures, humans seemed capable of incredible endurance. This made no sense to the alien, whose species was built for efficiency and avoided unnecessary physical stress. Yet humans, with their fragile and unpredictable bodies, seemed to thrive in situations that should have destroyed them. As the alien watched more closely, they began to focus on how humans tolerated pain. It was as if they had a built-in capacity to endure suffering that went far beyond physical limits. Whether it was from injury, illness, or self-inflicted challenges, humans pushed through pain in a way that defied the alien's understanding. The alien witnessed individuals enduring excruciating medical procedures, only to continue on as if the pain was merely an inconvenience. They couldn't comprehend how human bodies, with all their weaknesses, could bear such agony and still function. What truly bewildered the alien was how humans seemed to adapt mentally as well. Their psychological resilience was just as strange as their physical endurance. The alien studied cases of extreme psychological trauma loss, war, deprivation, and yet, time and time again, humans demonstrated an astonishing ability to recover and keep going. The alien noted that even after surviving horrors that would have mentally crippled many other species, humans found ways to rebuild their lives, driven by an inexplicable force of will. This mental toughness intrigued the alien, who had never encountered such an anomaly in other species. But perhaps the most baffling aspect of human biology came from the reproductive system. The alien couldn't help but be shocked by how inefficient and dangerous it was. The risks of childbirth, the hormonal imbalances, and the lengthy periods of physical vulnerability all seemed to present significant biological flaws. Yet, despite these inefficiencies, humans continued to reproduce with remarkable success. The alien observed the complications, the struggles of pregnancy and birth, and the recovery that followed. They watched as human females endured these life-threatening processes repeatedly, only to return to their daily lives shortly after. This reproductive process, in all its chaos, was another glaring contradiction in the survival of humans. Each observation added to the aliens' growing sense of frustration. There were no clear answers. Human biology was a confusing mix of fragility, resilience, pain, and survival instincts. No matter how deep the alien dug, no matter how many case studies they reviewed, the conclusions were always the same: humans should not survive, and yet they do. In some ways, they thrived on chaos and disorder, pushing themselves to physical and mental extremes that no other species would dare attempt. The aliens' report grew longer and more complicated as they struggled to make sense of what they were witnessing. As the alien continued their study of human biology, they shifted their focus to something even more perplexing: how humans adapted and evolved in response to the challenges posed by their own biological shortcomings. While other species evolved in predictable, streamlined ways, the alien found that human evolution was a tangled web of contradictions. Humans, despite their numerous biological flaws, had managed to survive through a curious mixture of adaptation and sheer stubbornness. The alien first observed the physical quirks of human evolution. For instance, humans possessed an appendix, an organ that no longer served any real function but still posed the risk of inflammation or rupture. In other species, such inefficiencies would have been eliminated through natural selection, yet humans continued to carry these evolutionary relics. Similarly, allergies and overreaction of the immune system to harmless substances were a common trait among humans, baffling the alien. In their species, the immune system had long since been perfected, operating with precision to ensure no such wasteful reactions occurred. Yet, humans continued to evolve with these biological mistakes intact, somehow thriving despite them. What fascinated the alien even more was humanity's incredible adaptability to their environment. The alien documented humans living in climates ranging from the freezing poles to the blistering deserts. Despite the wide variety of environmental extremes, humans found ways to not only survive but to flourish. They altered their diets, clothing, and shelter to suit each environment, adapting on a cultural level when their biology alone wasn't enough. The alien noted that this cultural adaptation was unique to humans. They had evolved socially and mentally in ways that compensated for their biological limitations. The aliens' interest deepened as they studied human survival instincts. Countless stories surfaced of humans enduring life-threatening situations through sheer willpower and ingenuity. Individuals who had been stranded in harsh environments with little food or water for weeks managed to survive, often through a combination of resourcefulness and mental fortitude. From climbing out of treacherous mountains to navigating through war zones, humans seemed to defy the odds repeatedly. The alien could not fathom how a species so biologically vulnerable could possess such tenacious survival instincts. It wasn't just physical adaptability that intrigued the alien, it was the mental and psychological evolution of humans as well. The alien studied how humans continually advanced their medical knowledge, developing treatments and technologies to overcome their own biological flaws. Humans had found ways to mitigate the dangers of childbirth, treat diseases that once wiped out entire populations, and extend their lifespan significantly through medical innovation. While their biology remained imperfect, their intellectual evolution allowed them to circumvent many of their weaknesses. Humanity's cultural and psychological growth added yet another layer of complexity to the aliens' observations. Humans, unlike many species, evolved through the development of ideas, technologies, and social structures that allowed them to thrive in spite of their biological limitations. The alien watched as humans pushed beyond their biological constraints by using their intellect and creativity, adapting not just to their environment, but to the changing nature of their world. In comparison, the alien's own species had long since reached a biological plateau, adapting only as much as needed for survival. But humans kept evolving, and this made them not only unpredictable but formidable. As the alien documented these findings, a new sense of awe began to replace the frustration they had initially felt. Humans may have been biologically flawed, but they had developed an uncanny ability to adapt, evolve, and persist against all odds. Their capacity to survive in situations that should have spelled certain doom was not just a result of biology, but of the mental and cultural evolution that the alien found so bewildering. As the alien approached the conclusion of their study, they struggled to compile their findings into a coherent report. The more they analyzed human biology, the more baffling the species became. Their assignment, which had seemed simple at first, now felt like an unsolvable puzzle. Human biology, full of contradictions and inefficiencies, should have made them one of the weakest species in the galaxy. Yet, against all logic, humans continued to thrive, adapt, and survive. The alien began their final report with an admission of defeat. They had not found a clear explanation for humanity's resilience. The alien attempted to summarize their observations. Humans, though biologically fragile, had developed unique ways to compensate for their shortcomings. Their ability to adapt to extreme environments, their mental fortitude, and their seemingly endless capacity for innovation made them far more dangerous and unpredictable than the alien had anticipated. The alien noted that while humans should have been limited by their biological constraints, they consistently found ways to overcome them, often through sheer willpower or ingenuity. This made them an outlier among intelligent species, most of which relied on biological efficiency for survival. Despite their growing respect for humanity's resilience, the alien couldn't help but feel a sense of frustration. No matter how deeply they examined human biology, they couldn't reconcile the species' survival with the flaws they had documented. Human bodies broke down easily, were susceptible to a range of diseases, and often functioned inefficiently. Yet, the alien could not ignore the evidence humanity's persistence and adaptability had allowed them to flourish in ways that defied reason. The alien reluctantly acknowledged that humans were, in some ways, stronger than species with perfect biological systems. In their final thoughts, the alien reflected on what they had learned. Humans, though biologically flawed, possessed an inner drive that made them far more formidable than initially expected. The alien admitted that their preconceived notions of biological superiority had been challenged. Humans were not perfect, but it was precisely their imperfections that made them exceptional. Their ability to endure pain, adapt to extreme conditions, and evolve mentally and culturally set them apart from other species. The alien concluded their report with a mixture of admiration and unease. Humanity, they realized, was far more dangerous than they had thought, not because of their physical strength or advanced technology, but because of their relentless determination to survive and adapt. The final line of the report carried both a warning and a recognition humans were not to be underestimated. They might be biologically flawed, but their will to survive made them one of the strongest species in the universe.